Please get the mic over here. Let's get this in because
I don't want to name any names.
No, name names. Name names. Please name because I actually have a stylist now. I have a woman. Well, it started with because Justine Marino has been the person that I'd like, and Emily was the person that I would reach out to, and I'd be like, "Does this look good?" Like, and she'd be like, "Yeah, this or wear that, or maybe different shoes." And then it became Justine, and then Justine actually recommended me to an actual stylist, and she was like, "Josh, like, it's not like I can't do it anymore, but just you need somebody dedicated for this."
Mm-hmm.
And so I started working with Julia, and Julia came to my house, and she did these like spent like 4 hours in my closet just piecing. I'll show it to you. It's really cool. It would be like she'd lay on the bed and take a picture of like these pants with this jacket and these shoes and this watch, and she did that for like 40 different outfits, and a lot of the shit was stuff that I wouldn't even think about wearing. Like I was like, oh wow, like I had this purple shirt that I bought vintage, and I was like, this is just like a workout shirt. And then she put it in an outfit, and I'm like, damn, that looks like purple looks good with camo, and it actually was great. Then the worst thing that she said to herself said to me was if you ever need me, just send me a text. And she's like, I'm always around. You know what I mean? Like, just I can help you pick out stuff. And dude, once she opened up that avenue to me, it was just like, I mean, every day. And I get it because I only paid her for the 4 hours, and she's been doing like months of free work. And then finally she hit a point where she's like, all right, dude, like this is what I do for a living. Like we need to figure something out. So now we're working out a budget. So monthly I can just pay her a flat rate.
Is she buying stuff for you?
No, I'm assuming because you have so many clothes. I see you in your Instagram stuff. And when you say you're like the best dressed guy at the airport, I have that belief too sometimes. Now you're more like vintage designer. Like you're finding like, am I wrong? Like you'll find like a Gucci or a Dior blazer and this, and then you're matching it with some sneakers and that. And I don't look at it like I'm not going that like designer like, but it's like I definitely, when I go to the airport, I still am putting an outfit together that I'm like, just in case. Like, I run into somebody or just there's a picture taken of whatever.
It's funny. It's like it's just you just feel better.
You do.
You feel better. The employees treat you better. I had a friend who his grandmother was a flight attendant for like Northwest Airlines or some old school airline. Mm. And she said, and this was true back in the day, if you were dressed well, you would get upgraded. Like they would pick people that were dressed well to put up in the front of the plane.
I could see that.
And now that's like valets now parking cars outside of places. It's like they want people to see the good shit.
Sure. So they put the Bentley out front. Yeah, they're not putting, they're not putting the Toyota Celica.
And I can see, and I sometimes are just like, oh man, I just want to wear like sweats, like athleisure gear or whatever, which is the majority of the airport now. People that think that they're wearing really cool sweats. Yeah. And there are cool sweats. Especially if you put it with other things, But anyway, yeah, I don't. I'm getting rid of so much stuff right now. Clothes.
You're having somebody with you to do it, or you're doing it yourself. Because that's the hard thing: is looking at your closet and being like, I know I don't wear this, but there might be a thing that I need this shirt for, and it's so hard to like give it up, especially if you spent. Most of the t-shirts that I wear, like even like the blanks, those are at least like $100 t-shirt, and then they fade and they look great, and then it's just like they downgrade, but still, it's like at one point were my going out. Yeah, I want to look good in this. This is the shirt.
And they're not anymore,
and they're so far removed from that.
And and the second that you can cut that, the feeling is amazing. Because I have a whole storage unit.
Okay.
I mean, my girlfriend has a 17-year-old son and a 21-year-old son. And they have been begging to go through my clothes. And their friends want to go.
Sure.
Like they want, and I gave them some shirts, I gave them some stuff, but I just decided, I'm like, I want to be a minimalist. I want to have, to me now, clothing is more about like, and I'm sitting here wearing this, but like silhouettes. And it's really about the look.
It's a new word that I've learned only recently, but it's like, it's a very big fashion buzzword, silhouette.
It is. Yeah. It's like, it's always been, I mean, especially for designers, the silhouette has always been the thing. It's like, how does it fall in your body? How does it look?
Yeah.
What type of body do you have, and which version of this fits better? Where, like just like where the where your waist is compared to where other people's waists are, how long your legs are compared to how long your torso is, and where do the edges and the tops and bottoms fit in there. And so once I got that, I'm like, I want to have like 8 outfits.
And just those are the 8 that you just kind of...
They're 8, they all fit together.
Yeah.
That's my dream. This is my dream I'm trying to come up with.
Okay.
They all fit together. I mean, I just donated. I had so many clothes, and I took it to like a place, and they were like, they picked out the stuff they would buy. And the stuff they didn't pick out, I'm like, they only knew. Like, this is so much better.
Yeah.
I just took it to, I gave it away. I was just like, some of this shit needs to find somebody, and it can't be just me handing it to people. Like, I want somebody to go through, like, if you go to the thrift store in Highland Park, across from Kitchen Mouse, there's some gold in there right now. I put some stuff in there.
Somebody's gonna find it.
What am I gonna get?
No, but I love that.
$20
yeah,
for something?
I love that. Well, it's funny that you said that. And I'll see. I'm like, and the whole time we're talking, I'm like, how do I bring this back to Otis Redding and music? From doing this podcast, I did Perry Farrell from Jane's Addiction.
Yeah,
and I go to his house. This is 2019, pre-pandemic, and he comes downstairs wearing this like all denim outfit with like a fucking Ralph Furley like thing around his neck, and he won't stop. This is a whole nother story, but he won't stop talking about Trump, and it's like I'm trying to keep him online about Brian Eno, and he's just like, but he's got kids in cages, and I'm like, dude, but Brian Eno, we only have an X amount of time with him. And I don't know if at the beginning, in the middle, or the end, but I say something about how great he looks. And he's like, really? He's like, I've got all these clothes, and if you want any of them, like, I'll bring them down because I don't know what to do with them. And I'm like, fucking Perry Farrell clothes? Of course. He comes downstairs with this box of shit. And we start going through it. And I'm like, he's like, one of them's like this incredible, like flowy, like hooded Jedi robe, but it's like, it's rad. And I'm like, oh, I'd love this. And he goes, yeah, I think I'm going to keep this one. And I'm like, okay. And then he's like, what about this? And I'm like, oh, this jacket's great. I'd love this jacket. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep it. And it's just, he keeps doing that. And then I'm finally, well, what do you want to give me? Because at this point, I'll just take anything because it's yours. And he gives me this like zippered black jacket. I don't know the designer. It's not Rag and Bone, but it's kind of like that style. Mm-hmm. And he gives it to me, and I've never worn it. It's not my style at all. It's very Rick Owens-y, but like a cheaper version, I guess. And when I was moving from Los Angeles to New York, I went to go donate clothes, or not donate, but see if I could sell anything. And I brought all this, just like you said, I brought all this great shit. And they went through it and they're like, no. And I'm like, why are you kidding me? That? No. And they're like, no. The only 2 things they wanted to keep were my dad's jacket. My dad had a members only leather jacket. And if they were going to offer me like good money for it, I would have sold it. But it was like, they offered me like $30. And I was like, I'd rather just keep this. And I'll just.
That's a keeper.
Yeah. And then. But it's one of those things where it's just, I just look at it. I'm never going to wear this. You know what I mean? Maybe, realistically, I probably would now.
But it's your dad's.
Yeah. Yes. But the same thing, like, it was funny because New York is what changed me to start wearing other than white T-shirts, black T-shirts. Because, like, with the weather, that's when I started really getting more into, like, fashion. Because I was so just locked in. White T-shirt, black denim, blue denim, boots. That was it. And the only other thing they wanted to buy besides that was the Perry Farrell thing. And they offered me like $25 for it. And I was like, well, I'm just going to keep this. And so now both of those things are just in my closet and they're just taking up space. But great story. And I get to look at them and be like, and the dad's jacket, I probably one day maybe wear it. I let Rick Shapiro wear it for a while and he like ruined it. So that was the other thing too. It's like,
you can't.
I know. I was young. I was one of the guys that drove him around. He had, you know, some of those comics that just, when you're brand new and he's on Louis, he's on all these things and he's like, you know, you take me to here and I'll get you up. Of course you're going to take them. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. But I realized it very, very quickly that I shouldn't be one of his drivers.
Well, once you start letting somebody wear something, it's theirs.
Yeah.
You can't. Taking that back is, I've never asked anybody, can I wear this thing? But I've had people give me something and be like, hey, do you want this? And it's like, I mean, Yeah, because it's not mine, it's yours. And like now that's a gift.
Yeah. It's hard to get it back once it becomes part of their wardrobe.
I went golfing yesterday and I needed a shirt, and it was at a country club, and they don't take money at a country club. But my friend who is a member there, I bought a shirt and I was like, hey man, I bought a shirt in there. I owe you $60.
Mm-hmm.
And then he texted me. I was like, send me your Venmo. And he was like, I just like the idea of you owing me a shirt. So here's my address. I just want to see a shirt at some point. And I was like, this is probably one of the best things that's ever happened.
You're going to have fun with it now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've already thought about it over and over.
Can you tell me the friend? Is it like Bargatze? Is it
no, it's this guy named Greg Garcia.
Okay.
He's actually, I know him through Nate.
Okay.
But he created Yes Dear and, I mean, a million television shows. Like, yeah.
Are you going to go in his style?
He said medium. No, I'm not going to go in his style.
So you're going to get something.
I'm going to get something he'll like, but I'm going to get something that he would think, oh yeah, I would buy. I mean, yes, this, but like I would normally wear with a surfer logo on it.
Yeah.
And instead it's this. Or maybe I'll send him my merch. I like that.
I do. I don't mind that. I mean, I can imagine your merch is actually like wearable merch.
I just bought this on the way here because this is my coffee shop that I go to, and I know the guys. We all like know each other through cool, program shit.
Yeah.
And like I was like, fuck, maybe I'll send them one of these.
I mean, it's not a bad shirt.
No,
if you're going to have merch, you want it to be merch that people actually want to wear. Because I see some comics or bands where you're just like, like Erykah Badu's merch was terrible, but then you went out to you get out of the arena and the guys that are selling the bootlegs, you're like, oh, I'll wear that. Sometimes the bootleg shirts are better than the fucking ones that are going for 60, 70 bucks.
You should see my Etsy shirt. My Etsy shirt is bootleg, vintage bootleg. And you get bootleg band shit.
Yeah.
Bootleg sports stuff, but bootleg like Gucci, which to me is some of the funniest stuff you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like an old, like an 80s, like fake Gucci sweatshirt that probably came from who knows what country.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Like combos that never happened.
Yeah.
But again, as I'm going through all my shit, I see that and I'm like, oh, that was fun like the few times I wore it, but I don't need it anymore.
Yeah. I definitely need some, but it's hard for me to part with anything. I'm not a hoarder, but I'm definitely, when it comes to clothes, it's like, unless I'm giving it to somebody, because we were talking about somebody before that, as I used to give her so much shit, and that was because I knew she would wear it, all this like vintage Washington Bullet stuff, and I know I'm never gonna wear it, but I was like giving it to her. I was like, oh. Or if like an ex-girlfriend takes something, or a girlfriend at the time, but then becomes ex, it's like, no, it's yours. Like, I love that. I love when something passes on to a friend that I know is gonna wear it, but.
Well, passing on things, and then I think you probably want to get to Otis Redding.
We can get to it eventually.
I have a son, and I think over and over again, I want my son to have these things. I want him to have everything. All of my stuff is his. My money, all of it's for him.
Yeah.
So like, then I realized as I was going through this like old Mariner shirt that I had, it's like, no, he can get like 5 jackets from me and like some pants probably and some cool shit that I'll have. But I don't need to save every T-shirt that I ever had. Like my dad gave me nothing because he saved nothing.
Yeah.
All I got was my grandfather's watch, which is maybe one of the best things I got. And it's like, other than that, my dad didn't. I see old pictures of my dad in like all denim outfits. I'm like, where is this?
Yeah.
Where is this Levi outfit from the 70s that would look so good now?
Yeah.
But instead, I've gone out and I've bought Levi stuff from the 70s. I mean, I have my Levi collection is ridiculous. It's probably worth.
Have you been? You need to go down to Denim Revival on 3rd, in between Fairfax and Crescent Heights. It's one of those little row stores. That's where I go to get pants fit, or they fix denim, obviously. But there is a section in the back that has like a vintage guy, and I buy some stuff from, but he has all the old Levi's. I'm talking like the $75,000 stuff that he's going to Japan with a lot of this stuff to like trading or selling it.
A lot of that stuff's in Japan.
Yes, but he would show me stuff, and for me it means nothing. I'm just like, all right, yeah, it's cool, it's old denim. But he's like, this is worth $45,000, and there's a whole market through the Japanese, dude. We're worried about China, but it's the fucking Japanese are coming and taking our fashion.
They already did, and we're going taking it back, and it's costing more.
Way more,
It's
dude.
like they came here in I can't remember what decade, like the 90s or the 2000s. Like one of these decades was like Japanese people came here, bought like half of the Levi's stock that we had, brought it to Japan.
Yeah.
Because it was all made in America.
Yeah.
And then now we're over there like, oh my God, look at this Japanese denim. Like, well, that's American. That was made in America. They brought it over.
Yeah.
Now we're taking it back.
Yeah.
Although Japanese denim is the, selvage and all that stuff. But
which is great, by the way. There is a difference. To all the listeners, they've heard me talk about it. You've heard me talk about it. Schaefer's Garment Hotel. That's my buddy's store on Sunset, but he makes all the best pants. He was my intro into like Self-Edge, or Self-Edge is a store, but selvage denim. But
also a masturbation technique.
is it what Self-Edge? What
Self-edging.
where you just edge yourself? No, I don't know why I had to act that out. Everybody kind of knew what it was. I'm sorry. Otis Redding. You seem Sufjan Stevens. You seem light guitar, Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah.
You seem. Am I wrong or any of these?
No, you're not wrong. No, but I have an affinity to Otis Redding, especially. Well, so I guess just to kind of intro my story with him is that I had my parents became friends with people in our neighborhood, a couple that never had kids.
Your parents became friends with people. Okay.
And they turned out to be my godparents. Like they were I was born, and they were just like neighbors, but they were my godparents, Jim and Sandy, and they then got wealthy. He bought a Texaco in Portland, like a gas station, and next thing you know, they had a really nice house, and the house was they basically made part of it for me and my siblings because we were like their kids. And so they made a playroom that had a pool table, a big screen TV before anyone had big screens, and a jukebox. And the jukebox was probably preloaded, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But in it was an Otis Redding CD. And it wasn't this one, although it was like a hits. It had Respect, it had Tramp, and it had Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay. It had The Glory of Love. And the first time I heard Tramp, I was just like, it hit everything for me. It hit a guy talking. It hit a guy singing. It hit some funny stuff. He's listing off cars. All these things. I was like, this is so crazy. And then sitting on the dock of the bay, I remember just sitting there. It looks like nothing's going to change, that part of it. Mm-hmm. It changed me. It really, I heard, every time I listened to that song, it took me to a place because my parents listened to the Manhattan Transfer. And
me too.
And BB and CC. I don't know. Just
I've
weird...
seen Peter, Paul, and Mary 7 times live. That's the kind of shit my parents, dude, Manhattan Trans. Oh my God. That's you said that. And then just years of trauma just came at me.
It was so wild.
Hilarious.
But then this fit into that for me. This was oh, this is the better version. This is great. I didn't have Neil Young. I didn't have any of that stuff from my parents. Mm-hmm. But this hit me. And the Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, it's there's a few songs that have ever existed that take you to a place. And that song is one of them. That song, the words, all of the things, but just the feeling. And now knowing the history, it's last thing he recorded really. Wasn't even he said I'd love the Staple Singers to be on it. But then they weren't. And then he died. And then they, then the guy put it all together. It's it was kind of as I got older and learned these things. And the death, too. Anytime somebody dies in an aviation situation, they're a legend.
Yeah.
I grew up in the La Bamba era.
Yeah.
That movie was just oh, shit. Richie Valens, all this stuff. And then when I found out, I didn't even know Otis Redding had done that. It was much later, but
not only were you born in the La Bamba era, you were born in the Lambada era too. I think we were alive during that short section of the universe where the Lambada, the Forbidden Dance, had multiple movies made about it.
People find something and they just go with it,
Yeah.
Lambada. Yeah, that was a real Lambada era.
That was a real, but La Bamba, There is something about the.
I just thought about his brother the other day. Remember his brother was like a cartoonist that wanted to like.
I don't remember. No, dude, I've seen the movie, but not in fucking many years.
Oh, I saw it many a time.
Really, you love it?
I loved it. I loved his singing. I mean, I was so attached to singing as a kid, just vocals and I mean, Otis Redding's voice is unmatched to this day. Nobody has ever had that. I mean, Al Green had something that was like unique and its own thing, but it's not Otis Redding.
I wouldn't put Otis Redding in the same discussion as Al Green or Marvin Gaye. I put him in the same discussion as Robert Plant. And I put him, he's a rock star, without a doubt.
Also where he was, like in the Bay Area, like, you know, kind of, what's that big, that concert up there that he did?
Monterey Pop.
Yes.
Monterey, is it Monterey Jazz or Monterey Pop? But that was...
I think it's Monterey Pop.
You have video on it, right?
No, I saw some. I can pull it up.
There is some. There's a whole documentary about it.
So let me see what we have about this record.
So that's kind of my history, was that. And when you have a jukebox and it's somewhere, you go into my godparents' house. I go in and I go directly to that and I pick the Otis Redding album. And that was it. That was all I would listen to.
So this is what I have about him. So for the song, it started in June of '67 after his triumph at the Monterey Pop Festival. Otis hit up Steve Cropper in November to excitedly alert him that he had written a hit. Remember that this was the year that Sgt. Pepper's came out, and Otis was listening to everything that was coming out at the time and immersing himself in the world of music outside of his scene. He could already play on the same bills as all of his rock and roll and folk artists, but he was often treated like he got to show only one small facet of his capabilities. He was getting tired of being pigeonholed as a soul artist and wanted to reach new audiences. He knew he was capable of being a great pop singer-songwriter beyond or despite the black music market. In fact, he was considering leaving Stack Records and moving to Atlantic, where he thought he would be more appreciated and allowed to expand his musical horizon and audience. Many people don't know that he would tune his old red damaged acoustic guitar to an open E and compose his songs using simple block chords before he could usually bring them to Booker T and the MG's guitarist Steve Cropper, who also wrote and produced with Otis. But Otis had to put his relentless touring schedule and recording by the wayside to have surgery on the polyps on his vocal cords. That's what I just had. And the procedure was a success. And when he was given the okay, he had a creative rush, which saw him write at least 20 new songs. According to Cropper, Otis's voice was back and better than ever. And with all these new songs, they both wanted to get back into the studio. They finished it together and recorded it by the end of November and the beginning of December, shortly before his tragic accident. The sound effects, which became such an integral part of the song, had been brought up, and Otis didn't love the idea at the time. In fact, many people at Stax Records, as well as his wife Zelma, didn't think the song was soulful enough and too pop. It was released as a posthumous single in January, and by March it became the first posthumous #1 hit and his great classic crossover hit. Tragically, Otis never actually heard the final mix of this song. The song is why we're talking about this record. This record, this is one of my least favorite Otis Reddings. Like, I'm a huge Otis Redding fan. I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I think, and I think probably all artists, there are people from our lives that we've seen, and we're always kind of just taking little pieces, right? Scott Weiland, that's like, I steal so much from him. And Otis Redding is the other guy, the energy that he had. And that's why I don't like this record more than like I always feel like Otis Redding is kind of like the Grateful Dead, where you're like, the albums are good, but it's the live versions of the songs is why we love the band. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever, there's a triple album, Otis Redding live at the Whiskey. Have you heard that? No. I'm going to send that to you. I've talked about this over and over because people are always like, what concerts if you go to any concert in the history of music, like what would you go to? That's in my top 5 because he wanted to show white audiences that he could, like, who he was, who he could bring. And so he rented out the venue, had to pay for it himself, and put on these 3 nights. And it's just, he doesn't do Dock of the Bay, obviously, but it's just it's just the most it's the energy in the room. You can feel it through the recording, which is so odd. I don't know if there's ever been a live record that I feel it's always like you're like, yeah, that captures it, but it's hands down. The first time I heard that it made me this incredible Otis Redding fan, and from hearing that, I've just gone in and just listened to every record and so on.
It's crazy when there's a song that you can never find a live version of.
Yeah,
this is one of them.
Oh well, he wrote it and then he died.
Yeah, Warren Zevon is the same way. Like that last album he wrote on his deathbed. I don't know. There's like a song on that I can't even think of the name of it right now, but it's like you can't. He never did it live. He did maybe one of the songs from that album live on Letterman, and that was it. And I don't know if you know a lot about Warren Zevon, but
I don't, but we got him into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He just got in, but he didn't get voted in, but they finally, the guy that I write the show with, he is friends with Warren's son, and it's just because I vote on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, nice.
So every year he's like, gets mad at me that I don't put him in, and it's one of those reasons that I'm like, well, I don't know his music like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what's wrong with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is that there's so many artists that should be in.
Yeah.
And especially it shouldn't be called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It should be called the Popular Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Mariah, as far as Christmas album goes, Mariah is a rock star to me.
Might be the best.
Yeah.
The Neil Diamond one might be better.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard it?
Of her song?
No, this is the Neil Diamond.
All I Want for Christmas?
Did you hear? There's a really good Barry Manilow covered All I Want for Christmas Is You. We just took mushrooms and went to see Barry Manilow.
Oh, that'd be great. In Vegas?
No, we saw him at Radio City. It freaked me out, dude.
I'm obsessed with a lot of music, but Otis Redding is a rock star. That's he in the end. And John Prine is a rock star in his own way, and like this guy that just writes a song that you're like, how he wrote a song about what? And it's that good, and it just beautiful. But yeah, Otis Redding's. I guess it really comes to his voice, that Janis Joplin sort of like screaming, but that's beautiful in a way that really, I know that like John Lennon did that a lot in that whatever album, then he kind of screwed his voice up with. What album was that where he did so much screaming?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, he I forget who was producing it. Somebody was when he was producing Harry Nilsson's album, he basically ran Nilsson's voice out by making him scream.
Oh.
And that was kind of like the thing that Lennon was doing at the same time as well. It was like this screaming thing.
Have you ever, because you don't really sing in your act. You just play the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do stuff to protect your voice?
No.
You just let it live?
Yeah, the only type of singing that I can do is so unique to me that it wouldn't help to make my voice good or save my voice.
Yeah.
But I have released a couple songs now that are like actually just songs.
Really?
Yeah. I just released another one a couple weeks ago that are on Spotify. But yeah, they're just like actual songs that I wrote and my buddies produced.
Do you want us to play it at the end of the episode? Because we always play like new music.
Yeah, sure.
We've diehard fans, dude. They're all 50-year-olds in a basement, but
I would love it.
We'll hook you up, dude. We will hook you up. You mentioned Dock of the Bay like being like one of the iconic songs. Like what would be the Mount Rushmore? Do you feel that like Dock of the Bay is up there with like a Stairway to Heaven or
Stairway to Heaven isn't even one of those songs for me.
Really?
Yeah. No, Dock of the Bay, there's certain songs like, do you know the song Holly Holy?
Mm-mm.
Holly Holy is by, Neil Diamond did a version of it, but it's also by something Junior in the All-Stars. And it's, to me, there's few songs. Not the Neil Diamond version, 2 All-Stars. Maybe just type that in, All-Stars. Junior Walker and the All-Stars. It's this song that, Every Piece of My Heart by Irma Franklin, not Janis Joplin, but Irma Franklin, which is the Aretha's sister, the original version of Every Piece of My Heart. Like, these are songs to me that are like, they hit a note that is unmatchable. And they're like, it's like wearing a classic suit.
Yeah.
You can't. Anybody would like these songs. Anybody in
so
any genre would
it's
hear
just-
this and think, yeah. I don't know. I guess these are songs that I like. These are songs I've come out on a stage on Sitting on the Dock of the Bay.
Really?
A lot, yeah. And then this song I used to have play the last song before the show started. This was like on my playlist. And then the Irma Franklin song is now the song I come up to on stage.
Yeah, you know, I appreciate how great this song is, and I love this song. But it's like when I listen to the rest of this record as a whole, it just knowing what I know about the history of it, it was just like it wasn't the album that he wanted to put out.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is just a cash grab. You know, it doesn't take away from the song. The song is iconic. It's beautiful, but it's just I hate that that's the song that he's almost remembered by. Like when you think of Otis Redding, most people would think of this, and it's just like there's so much other great music out there that he did, and it just bums me out because you know most people just associate him with this song.
Did he write Respect?
No, but I found. Hold on, let me double check that before I say no to that. I did find out these interesting facts on him. Where was it? The version of where is it? Here it is. The version of have you heard his version of Satisfaction?
Yeah.
So his version of Satisfaction was more or less the way that Keith Richards wanted the Rolling Stones song to be. So him doing it in that like sped up version of it.
I can't get no. Yeah, so good.
It's so good. I found a bunch of interesting things about him. When he and his band played the Apollo Theater in 1963, they had to pay more to provide copies of sheet music to the house band than they actually made from playing the gig. Which got me to ask you, what's the worst gig that you can remember doing? Like, what is your what's a gig from hell that you did?
San Francisco, The Onion had me play for their like anniversary party.
Yeah.
And it was in like the meatpacking district in like a weird warehouse, and the band Deerhoof was the headliner.
Who's Deerhoof? Is
Some art rock. They're great. I mean, they've got cool shit. But yeah, it's like some art rock band.
okay.
And it was like they'd had all these burlesque dancers as the waitresses. Like it wasn't, it was a weird vibe. And two people saw me do the set. Moshe Kasher, Brent Weinbach.
Okay.
Happened to be there. We had just met. And they were like, oh, come to this weird show you're doing. So doing the show, and I'm just getting booed. Like people
You're getting booed?
Oh, yeah. It's beyond... Deerhoof! They're yelling. They want Deerhoof.
There's nothing worse than going up in front of like a band. Like I did it for Jelly Roll, but I had at least my band, so I could incorporate the music. But it's like if I would have gone up there on that tour and just done stand up, I mean that would have been horrible.
Well, yeah, it depends on what the band's audience is, and if the band has said, "Hey, we like this person, we want you to like them."
Yeah.
But Deerhoof had nothing to do with me. They didn't know me, and these people didn't like me. And I mean, this will sound not real, but I have two people that witnessed it that can really tell you that it happened. Is in the midst of my performance, I at one point was interviewing somebody in the crowd being like, when you said go fuck yourself, like, what did you mean?
Yeah.
You know, and in the midst of that, one of the waitresses and burlesque dancer comes up on stage and she's just like kind of mesmerizing me. Like she's walking towards me like, and as I'm looking at her, I don't realize that another woman grabs me from behind, grabs my arms, pulled back. So she's like holding my arms back from behind. So the microphone is just right here.
Yeah.
And then the woman on the ground gets down on her knees and starts blowing the microphone that I'm holding right here. And I'm being held from behind. And then the girl from behind, instead of from holding me, she goes to jumping up onto my shoulders. Like now I'm like piggyback ride sort of a situation.
Yeah.
Until I finally collapse onto the ground. And now all of the dancers are on stage and the DJ cues up Everybody Was Kung Fu Fighting.
Nice. Great song.
Happening while I'm on stage, entangled with these women, and one of them, I'm at the bottom of the circle, bottom of this pile, and this woman looks at me and she goes, "Are you gay?" And I said, "No," and then she slapped me across the face. And then it just kind of ended, and I got off stage, and I got my shit, and I walked out the back door, never got paid, never talked to the guy that booked me.
Oh, dude.
Just gone in the wind.
Do you do corporate gigs?
Yeah.
Do you like them?
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. I've had some rough ones.
If you have to name the company, but because I've done corporate gigs where I was supposed to get paid X, and then I bombed so hard that they reduced the money down.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was great.
I did a cement company this last year that was very Christian.
Okay.
And it went fine. And in the end, I was just reading the room. Like, people in there, they weren't drinking. There was nothing that would make a holiday party with your coworkers more awkward.
Yeah.
That I was just like, hey, let's do the raffle. Like, in the middle of my act. I just was like, I'm just going to pull an audible here and just do the raffle.
Oh my God. But the thing is, like, not saying you're made for a corporate gig at all. Nobody's made for that. But I mean, you're not telling edgy jokes. You're not cussing. I mean, you work with Nate, so obviously, like, I always ask you, like the guys that open for him is like, you've never been on stage and just actually been like, oh shit, like, it's never.
I did.
Did you?
At the Greek.
Really?
I said the
Please
F
tell
word.
me.
And
Nobody wants to admit it.
I got off stage because it was like totally by accident, and it was so hot. It was like 100-some degree day. We're at the Greek. The lights are just ridiculous. And the nerves. It's not like you're playing some theater in Wichita. You're playing in Los Angeles, California at the Greek.
Yeah.
It's like people still come up to me that were at that show, and it was so hot. And I said, like, it's so fucking hot. And then I was like, oh my God. I ran off. I got off stage, immediately found Nate. Like, I went right to him.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey man, you're going to hear about it from everyone else. I said fuck on stage. How'd you say it? And I'm like, well, I said this. He's like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, if it slips out naturally, it's not like you're saying it in the bit.
And the thing is I respect his whole thing so much, because
Sure.
I don't want to. I like not swearing. It's actually fun now that I can do a full hour and not say a swear word. And you find, like, I'll have jokes that I've used it in, and I get there and I think, oh, I want to use it. And then I don't, and it gets a laugh, and it's the same. And it's like, oh, it felt good to not use it.
Sure.
But I'm not against it. I'm not against people using it, and I enjoy a lot of stand-up that does use it. But yeah, when it's not your audience and you want to respect the person that is giving you that opportunity, because Nate has given me so many amazing.
He's the best. I love him to death. So I mentioned earlier about, like, people that we take from. And so I steal a lot from Otis Redding. I know he has the clip of him performing live, like the way that he would do Try a Little Tenderness. Have you seen live versions of that?
Yeah.
Where at the end he just keeps going and coming back out, and the energy. Like, who are the artists that you've taken from?
Toto. I'm serious. I listened to Toto. I just did the Tonight Show not too long ago, and I did the same thing. I have multiple pictures of me in green rooms of late night shows, holding up my phone with Rosanna by Toto playing.
You love Toto.
I just love that. I mean, great. Toto's great, but that song is epic. That song has
Rosanna.
It has
Rosanna.
boom, like, it's got all these hits and all this stuff. But really, all it does is it just lets me know, like, you can have fun. Like, go out there and have fun. Like, you're playing Rosanna. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, smile at it. Be relaxed. Play Rosanna. And so I do that. I mean, I guess a lot of the people, I hate to say Bob Dylan just because he's so in the zeitgeist now. And I hate that all these people know so much about him now and they didn't earn it. Like, I earned everything I know about Bob Dylan from books, from hearing stories, from, like, collecting information, and then everyone just got all this information because they watched one movie with Timothée Chalamet, which is fine. It's great. That's the way it goes.
Did you like the movie?
Sure. Yeah. I'm not a hater in any sense of, like, oh, I'm a Bob Dylan fan. It didn't hit. It wasn't, like, he did a great job. The movie was good. It was fun to watch. It wasn't like Walk Hard, I think, is a better,
Sure.
I think also the story's better for a movie. Like the Bob Dylan story isn't as poetic as the Johnny Cash story of a guy that like got remarried, fell in love. Like we don't know who Bob Dylan loves. Like we don't want to know. We don't want to know any of that shit.
Yeah.
All I want to know is what did he like? What was his artistic integrity, and how did he keep it, and how long did it? Like those are the things you want to know with him.
Yeah.
But and Johnny Cash. I mean, Johnny Cash hosted the ABC show, but I do take a lot from someone like Johnny Cash or people like that too. Where I mean, a musical performance, what a lot of people don't, dynamics in music are just so brilliant and so grabbing. And when you see somebody do it right, when you see somebody play the guitar and then they play it with dynamics,
Yeah.
they play it in a way that makes you like, did they know that I almost couldn't hear that part?
Yeah. Sure.
Because when you're an amateur playing something, you're like, I got to play loud so they can hear the whole thing. Where it's like, I want to almost not hear a part. I want to lean in. And when musicians make me want to lean in, I'm like, oh, I want to do that in my comedy. I want to like go up there and build and pull back and,
Who do you think should play Otis Redding if they did a movie about him? Who?
Gerard Carmichael.
That's funny. They should make a movie about Otis Redding. It's
Of
like
course they should.
the way that they're doing, they like Bob Dylan. I love that you said that. It's like, yes, the movie is entertaining and it's great, but there's something about Bob Dylan that's still like the reason he's because I'm only became a Bob Dylan fan recently because, like I said many times on this podcast, we've done Bob Dylan the wrong way. Like no one should do it the way that we did it on this podcast, which is start with his later records and then go back. Like you have to appreciate the older stuff to then really understand like Time Out of Mind or Love and Theft. Like you have to listen to old Bob Dylan.
I mean, it's a different artist, like, and there's just I love all the eras. I mean, there's certain albums that what's his name? God, the album, the Joker Man album that has the guitarist from Dire Straits.
Okay.
Right? Is that the guy?
I don't know.
Who's the guitarist from Dire Straits,
Gerard Carmichael.
Yeah, no. But that album of Bob Dylan's is like, anyway, I mean, is it Dire Straits? Maybe not. Sultans of Swing, yeah. Oh yeah, Mark Knopfler. Yeah.
Oh, Mark Knopfler.
Yeah, he basically produced and played guitar in the Joker Man album, the Bob Dylan. I don't even know what the name of that album is. Maybe it's Joker Man. But that's like a whole different artist, that album, compared to Blood on the Tracks or some shit. But anyway.
So we did it wrong on this podcast. I have yet to see the movie, but through what I've learned about him, because we're finally starting to get into like the older records, and it's like I'm really starting to be like, oh, like I get it now. And Bob Dylan, there's kind of like a mystery, and I think that's kind of why people love not just him being a brilliant songwriter and like a voice of a generation, but there's something cool about, he is up there with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, but there's still like, so much about John Lennon and so much about Paul McCartney and so much about the Rolling Stones. But with Bob, it's like he doesn't do a lot of interviews. He's very secretive. And I think that's what's kind of cool about him.
And I know some Bob Dylan stories that I've heard, because like a lot of, when you talk to musicians, like especially like folk artists and stuff, like there are these stories that go around that you're like, oh, have you heard the one about the iTunes thing with him and like this and that? And it's like, or when he walked in when Jacob Dylan was recording the Wallflowers album and he like listened to it, and first thing he said when he took the headphones off was, sounds expensive. That's his son.
Yeah.
That's his son's album that he just heard.
Yeah.
Sounds expensive.
Is your son into music? Have you really like...
Yeah, he wants to go see Tyler, the Creator.
Damn, I'm not into Tyler, the Creator. I haven't really started digging into him, but his name keeps coming up as of recently with different people that I like that know music, and they keep bringing him up, which is a sign that I need to start digging into him. He's like somebody had said he's like the Prince of the younger generation. Do you not agree with that? Or
no? I've been listening to it a lot now in my car because I want to like listen to what my son likes, not force what I want.
Sure.
Which I used to do when he was younger, and he had no control.
What did you force onto him? Like, what was the art? Has it been like Dylan and Otis Redding?
Yeah,
I'm assuming?
he drew me a birthday card that I have on my fridge. It might have been like 2 birthdays ago. Is a photo. I have a shirt with Bob Dylan. It says Bob Dylan, and it just has his face, and it's a really cool, like, weird bootleg shirt. And he drew a picture of me, and then with the Bob Dylan shirt on, and drew an arrow to it and wrote Bob Dylan. And like he, like his kind of like he was 8 when he did that or something.
Yeah.
Like so an 8-year-old knowing like, oh, this is what my dad likes. This is what he plays for me. It's cool. But yeah, all of that stuff and trying to play him the Beatles and trying to play him stuff where it's like, this is cool, right?
Yeah.
But we went to an art show a couple weeks ago, and they had like a chain link fence that you were supposed to write on a piece of tape, like a dream that you have or something that you want. Like, and to me, I wrote world peace just because it was like, that felt like what this was for.
Sure.
Like everyone's putting a hope up.
Yeah.
And I like looked where my son put his piece of tape on this chain link fence, and he walked away, and I like ran over and looked at it, and it said, "Go to a Tyler the Creator concert." And I was like, all right.
That's what I love about some of the soul singers that we've done on the podcast. We did Sam Cooke, where Sam Cooke on the surface is just, I don't want to say like whitewashed at all, but like a lot of the songs is so white America can accept him because at that time to have like a real soul singer, like, they'd be afraid of that. And there's a live record that we did live at the Harlem Square Club. And it's you really, it's just like it's that rock and roll, the energy in the room that we talked about with the Live at the Whiskey. It's just this incredible performance where I looked at him one way and then seeing him live and hearing that and just being like completely blown away. And Otis, like I said before, where it's like Dock of the Bay is one way, and the stuff that I really love in making him a rock singer is all the live shit, the live at Monterey and the live at the Whiskey and live at Paris. It's just, those are the records that I just like, I love because of the way that he sounds. And that's, to bring it back to this album, I think that's kind of why I don't dislike this album. And I've said it over and over. It's like how much of a fan I am of Otis Redding, but it's just, this album is exactly what I don't like about him. It's just, it feels like he's just being suppressed, and I love it when he can just fucking go.
Well, the other thing about him is his voice is like the filter. Like his voice is, if you could make his filter, that would be what people like. That would be like one of the 5 filters on Instagram that they were like, you can use this for a picture. Like,
yeah.
There's so many levels that if you were to go in and like the low spots, the high, like all of it, there's layer after layer, and it's just his natural tone.
Yeah.
But I always love a person that goes into talking, and he does that a lot, like kind of a talk sing, because it's just so like personable.
I want to can you find, there's not video of it, but because he's funny too. Otis Redding is funny. Like you always say, like every comic wants to be a rock star, and some are like actually have bits. Like if you go see Billy Joel is like in between each song doing jokes, and they're funny. Like whatever you want to say about it, he does it, because I've seen him live so many times. It's the same set, but it's still, he knows how to get laughs.
And this is the part of this song you got to watch, ladies and gentlemen. We do a little gimmick right here, and it goes something like this. One time I loved you. 2 times I loved you, honey. 3 times I really love you, baby. 4 times I really love you now, honey.
You can just feel the audience just knows what's coming.
times I really loved you. But good God Almighty, I love you.
Just the energy in this room right now. It's this might be, I mean, arguably one of the greatest live recordings. This record, if you've never heard it, I'll send it to you, but it is exactly why I love Otis Redding. Just everything, the energy, the soul, the rock and roll, it's just, he's hands down, I think, one of the greatest live performers in the history of music. Because you always wonder, like, why is he in the discussion when there's such little shit of him out there? And it's because I think just what he did in these opportunities that he had, it's just phenomenal, man.
It's like Bo Jackson.
Yeah, dude. He's the Bo Jackson of music.
Exactly.
That's completely true.
There's not a lot to pull from, but he was probably one of the greatest.
I mean, the 100 greatest artists of, like, Rolling Stone did the 100 greatest artists. We were looking over that, and I think he's in the top 20. Who, if you had to put Otis Redding on the Mount Rushmore of singers, like, who else would you put up there? Like, who would be your, like, Mount Rushmore?
Well, so singers, not songwriters.
Just because I'm like taking away songwriting, just sound of the voice. Like, if Otis Redding is one, like, who would you else? Because I put Otis Redding.
Yeah,
I put Axl Rose. These are mine. I'm not saying these are right.
Mm-hmm. Billie Holiday.
You'd put Billie Holiday. Okay, who else?
Aretha Franklin. Yeah, I like Axl Rose. I like that, like the prime of that, but that's not. I mean, I would almost. Yeah, it's so hard. It's like there's certain people, their voices weren't amazing, but they had something.
Yeah.
You know? Like all those people I just said, I think their voices were amazing. But there's some people that, like, I mean, that even were songwriters, but also had something to them that you can't replicate, even if you try, which would be like Townes Van Zandt or, you know.
I remember you talking about Townes Van Zandt the last time you came on, because your son's name is Townes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and his voice was nothing spectacular, but it is really, when you really listen to it, the intonation and all the things, along with his weird guitar playing. But yeah, I mean, these are like this would be like saying I like Brody Stevens. You know, like it's like he's like a comic that somebody asked me the other day, like, what do you like about Brody? Like, what did all the comedians like about him so much? And I'm like, I can't even tell you. Like, the references, the reality of it, the knowing him.
Yeah.
Like, knowing the struggle, but also knowing that it's coming out in a way that it's coming, just all those things made it special.
I know, and especially with the way that he passed away, it makes all the sets, it's everything hits differently when you think about him, because it's like you didn't realize, because he was always about, like, positive energy in this, and it's just like, oh, this guy was dealing with, like, real, like, just sorrow and melancholy, and he was such a beautiful guy, and he was so funny, and there was a great time where he was getting everything he deserved when Comedy Central was on his nuts and he had the TV show, and you're like,
yeah,
oh, he was such a special guy.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because there's like stories that I want to keep about him where I'm like, there are moments where I saw that side of him, and in places like in Ireland when I was there with him at the festival, and where you see this kind of side where you really are worried about him. You know? And I had a dream about him like a couple of years ago that was one of the best dreams I've ever had. It was so weird. It was just a dream. It was like where he was there, and I was like, why did you do it, man? And he was like, I don't know. I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
It was like a great little moment. I guess people that lose somebody that they love, or that they were close to, or that they admired, or whatever, they call it a freebie. If it's like you dream about them, you get to have a conversation.
Sure.
With them,
Sure. I dream about Angelo all the time. And it's always like a very sweet, positive thing too. One time I did have a dream where he was like fucking my ex-girlfriend, and I was like, dude, what are you doing? he had a huge dick, so if I was her, I would have done it too. But with Brody, they always take the people, even Otis, they always take the people that are like, not done yet or that we need. Like we needed more Otis Redding. We needed more Brody Stevens. We needed more Angelo Bowers. They never take the people that you're like, nope, you're good. We're done. Even like Kobe, like after he died, you found out how great this guy was.
Yeah.
And it sucks because I wish more people would have known that when he was alive. Because I hated him until he died. And then I fell in love with him. Yeah, Otis died. How old was Otis when he died? 20. Was he 27? Let me see. He died at 26 years old.
Oh my gosh.
But that's what's so funny. He looks like he's 42. Like they just look, dude. We're not like. How old are you? I'm 45.
He did a bit about this the other night on stage where it was like 30-year-old guys look like they were our grandpas.
Yes.
What? It's like back in the day on like screen. Yeah.
Like pull up pictures of Otis Redding from like the year that he died or just any. He does not look like a 26-year-old. Yes. He looks like he's 40. And that's the thing with being a black guy. Like they age so great that he's probably going to look like that when he was 70.
Also, that one, yes, he looks young, but then the one on the bottom corner right there that we see, he looks, but there aren't any wrinkles, I guess just also guys that age wearing suits and having mustaches that just made him look older.
Do you look at old pictures of your dad at your age now? And do you see my dad when he was 45 looks like a 60-year-old man? Mm-hmm. The Tommy Bahama, the outfit, and it could be the style, but I don't feel like we're aging. Like 40. Is it me? I don't feel 40. And I'm trying to do everything. Obviously, I'm saying this with fucking pink hair like a goddamn loon, but I don't think that we're like. Why do you think we're aging differently than back in the day?
Yeah, I don't. I think that it is a look thing. I think it's just an active. I think that people are more vain now. So it's, my dad was
diet. I think the learning about diet. We're not eating meat and potatoes every meal. We're avoiding the sun.
My dad was not a vain person, although he was very handsome. He is a very handsome man. But
yeah.
I remember everyone, all my friends' moms being like, your father is so handsome.
Really? Tall like you?
Not as tall as me, but pretty tall.
6. What are you, 6?
6'4".
Fuck, dude, if I was 6'4". How tall was Otis Redding? Will you look that up for us? I'm wondering. He looks like a goddamn giant. They call him the Big O, the Madman of Macon, Roadhouse Redding, the King of Soul.
6'1".
Yeah.
220. Good God.
Oh, he was a big boy, dude. Let's wrap this up. Promote away. What do you have going on? Anything you want to promote? And dude, please send us that song. Like I would love, and also like remind us. We'll make sure we play that dude. What was his name again?
Tyler Ballgame.
We'll play Tyler Ballgame. Have him send us music, man. We have like a diehard fan base, and they really do kind of like fuck with the people that we recommend.
Yeah, I put 2 songs out there on my like Spotify and Apple Music called "Alone by Myself" and "Heaven Is Low."
Okay,
songs. But I don't know, just my website and Instagram.
Congrats on getting past though.
Dates.
Thank you. That's awesome, man. And for everybody, go see Nick Thune live. All right,
see me at the Comedy Store.
we do these questions for everybody. Pull up the track listing for me, bud. Favorite song on this record?
Tramp. Just because of what I remember as a child, that song I would play it. But I think "Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay" obviously is like the easy pick. But yeah, Tramp.
Is there anything that you skip over?
I got to be honest, like the Hucklebuck and Old Man Trouble, I kind of...
Yeah, no, I get it. This is not my favorite record.
Yeah.
This is not, usually I get excited to listen to albums. I love Otis Redding, and out of all of this is knowing what I know about this being just a cash grab after he died. It's just, I get it. So, Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay rules. Tramp's awesome.
Glory of Love, I love.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I get it. Can you fuck to this record?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a record. that I couldn't. Not like in a cocky way. Like I can make it all work.
You could fuck the Tool. Actually, you could probably fuck the Tool pretty good because there's a lot of instrumentals.
Yeah.
You could fuck the Bob Dylan.
Sure. Oh, I've done it. Sure, yeah.
Aren't you like paying attention to the lyrics and kind of
Well,
like
I mean,
keep
I've just
you
got,
out of it?
I just had like playlists that I've got songs on that, things just start happening.
Do you have a sex playlist?
No, but I have romantic playlists that I've made to like give people.
Sure. Mm-hmm. That you could fuck to as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right on.
I mean, I could fuck to a podcast.
Really?
Sure.
See, that's too, like, I've had TV on while I'm fucking, but it's just background, obviously. But it's like I would, at this point in my life, if the TV is on or there's a podcast on and it looks like I'm going to have sex, if it's with somebody that, not say just first time, but it's like if you're trying to set the mood, like if somebody I can be comfortable with, be like, wait, pause for a second, let me put something on. Like I'll in the middle of sex be like, Alexa, play Portishead. Like, so I've done that many, many times. So podcast, not really. It's not fuckable.
Alexa, it's almost like you kind of dip into a threesome there for a second.
Yeah, she's listening, dude. She's like, okay, do you enjoy this? All right, what would be your elevator pitch to get someone to listen to this record?
I would say, God, elevator pitch for anything is hard for me. I'd say, listen, do you want to sit down and listen to a guy who died before his prime? Like, we're seeing this probably isn't even his prime. The last songs that he wrote that they put onto an album, he didn't even really produce it, but you can listen to it and know that it was where he was going. I'd do it.
I think when you talk about this record is how do I put this? The title track is why this record is on, and listen to this. And this is just a toe into the bathtub that is one of the greatest soul rock and roll singers of all time. Mm-hmm. I would say turn this one off and listen to Otis Redding live at the Whiskey. Nick, this was great. Thank you so much for coming on, buddy.
Thank you for having me.